My name is Walter Watson, also known as Pahu. Pahu means brave warrior. My birthplace is right here in Bryan, Texas, where we are today. Um, I've lived in Los Angeles most of my life. I think it was a big step from coming from the segregated South to LA, because I think life presented a different set of circumstances that I had to deal with. In terms of violence, in terms of romance, in terms of thinking it was just something altogether different, showed another side to me of a life that I never understood at an early age. So once entering Los Angeles, in a Thomas Jefferson High School. I think it was on 68th and Hooper. And at that school, Thomas Edison, is where I became familiar with gangs. I lived on 77th and Central in LA. And that was kind of in the heart of Slauson Village. And so things they just spinned off of me from that point, from gang banging to the street life to the hustling. From hustling, we went to prison, listening. We were basically listening to Malcolm X. We were listening to Muhammad Ali in his terms of boxing, and I got a lot from them guys. And I think Malcolm was our first martyr. There was also some other martyrs that we probably should talk about, and later on who became one of the martyrs. One of my most beloved martyrs was Comrade George Jackson, who was killed in San Quentin. But that was also Dopey Dan, which I guess we can get into. Dopey Dan, that was Cleve Evans, and that was Lil Jug Miller from The Businessman. I got to Los Angeles, I think it was 1959, and I started school that year, Thomas Edison.
That's a junior high school?
Junior high school in Slauson Village. Thomas Edison and Fremont was all inside of Slauson Village, so we didn't have to go outside of Slauson Village to go to school, doing junior high school as well as high school.
Okay. And who were some of the first guys you met when you was at Edison?
That was Freddie Blunt, Lonnie Coleman, Oliver Cool Mitchell, Dumbo, Marvin Jackson, just to name a few of them. Of course, who else could I say that was there? That was in that immediate. That was a guy named Jerry Jenkins. That was Crook, who used to live across the street from me. We were all in junior high at that time.
You stayed by 77th and Central?
Yes, I lived on 77th and Central, right behind the liquor store. 78th Street was the next street over, where the Savoy skating ring was. I think it was Wednesdays and Saturdays, or Wednesdays and Sundays. All Slauson would be there at that point. And then through the week, the pool hall, Jones Pool Hall, was there on the same block, and so was the liquor store. So that was a very important corner to Slauson Village. If you didn't have the attitude, if you wasn't a fighter, then you were gonna get ran over. And you for the social ladder, you was just at the bottom of the social ladder, and everybody could walk on you, and I wasn't trying to be walked on. So I was going to school with this guy named Clyde. He had a brother lived on 84, and he told me, said, man, if you trying to really do something, you really trying to be somebody, man, you got to try to join Slauson's Little Flips, man, because they're well respected. So I asked him basically what I got to do. And, You know, he said, man, well, you know, you got to kind of rep, so just go down there, you know, and meet the guys, some of the same guys we go to school with. So I was talking to some of the same guys, and they were telling me what was needed, what I needed. So I heard someone, I think it was Bird, speaking about the Slauson Park on the video. So at that time, Slauson Park was at 60, 50 something, 60 something, right off of Hooper. So I went down there and talked to the guys and see what I had to do to become a member. And they told me what I had to do to become a member. And sometime, I think I came on the last end of when you had to walk the line with your initiation. You know, because we used to meet in the gym upstairs in Slauson Park. And, you know, that's how I really became a member. They didn't take me through the thing of you had to get like what they call now, get jumped in, but you had to be, how can I say, you had to be known and kind of respected, but not in the live flip, but the build live flip. You had to have some heart, and I showed that, and they accepted me. But even at that acceptance, there was still some things going on that, I don't know, I guess like that was required of you to do, and that was to be able to hold your own. It's just not fight with the group. You know, you had to fight your own fight, but if you needed some help, that you were going to get some help. I didn't necessarily know them, you know, because different guys would come and say like guys from the Businessmen, the Gladiators. Yeah, I'm talking about you then, man. Some of them brothers, some of them cats out of Watts, you know, they would come down and we had to fight all of those guys. So it was a no-name thing. And then there was a guy that you would meet sometime coming from, it's a park down there, I forget the name, it's a little old town that, you know, they would come in and we would have to fight them. Huntington Park. And if we went there, you know, you go there on Saturday, you want to buy yourself some shoes, then you had to go through that racial thing with them and trying to get what you want, and then you might gotta fight your way out of there. So we were basically fighting, as I understand it now, it was about a territory. You have to have your safe haven. The birds have it, the wild animals, and everybody had their own territory. So you band together to protect that territory, because that's where your family is, that's where your girlfriends is, you know, and that's where you kind of make your money. That's your haven. So we didn't want anybody coming in, because I don't know what you're coming in for, but we don't want you in because this is we were claiming those city streets based on our needs. I mean, there wasn't our streets, and we understand that they belong to America, but we got this right now. So, and I mean, I think another thing that was in there at the time that was going on was the LAPD. So, you know, with gang fights, and then that was Big Slauson. We was always fighting with Big Slauson because Big Slauson, they really did was kept us up on fighting and just how to fight. We would go chess. I mean, all summer long in LA, that's what we did besides going to the beach, going to Playa del Rey, going to Long Beach. We were going out there just to fight, man. I mean, just to whoop somebody.
You mentioned the little flips. I guess at the time, the Slausons had a bunch of different little subgroups.
Right.
How did you get involved in that specific subgroup, and what were some of the other groups that were out?
Well, like I said, I got in there that was basically through fighting, you know, in my introduction to Slauson Village. So that's how I got there. And some of the other groups, that was the warlords. That was, you know, I think we got flipped over from the lift flips to the Senegons. That was Big Slauson. That was Renegades. And I don't know all the division that Big Slauson broke up into. Only thing I know is that they were Big Slauson and we were Baby Slauson. But I do know that was the Renegades. I think the president at that time was a guy named Edward Kennard, And we were in Slauson, we call it Slauson Park, right down the street from Edison, and that was in the earlier years.
Who were some of the big Slauson guys that you looked up to and kind of like, I guess, showed you the ropes of the streets when you was a youngster?
Man, that was Wolf. That was Eugene Allen. That was Big Danny Horn. Sinbad. I said Eugene Allen. Popcorn. Walter Perkins was around there. Jimmy Jug. Pyron. Lynn was there, Leonard Dixon. And they might not have been big Slauson, but that was Donald Poole was there. I mean, it just, Kenneth Foreman, James Bell. That was Bunchy. Everybody loved Bunchy. Everybody loved Bunchy. Way back then. You knew who Bunchy was. I remember the first time, when Bunchy, I think it was in 1960. It was in the early 60s. I saw Bunchy with a suit, and he had like an afro, but the afro, we didn't know it then. I just thought something was wrong with Bunchy. He had on the suit, and he had on a pair of tennis shoes, and his hair looked like he hadn't combed it, and I really didn't know what a natural was, but Bunchy was wearing a natural. He was probably one of the first guys I ever saw with a natural. And I said, man, I wonder what's wrong with homeboy, man, why he ain't comb his hair. Big Roach was around there at the time. Roach was big Slauson, with Chinaman and all them guys. But you didn't, some of those guys you didn't see that often. I don't know what they were doing, but I guess they was doing whatever they was doing. But we would fight these, we would go chess with these guys all the time. Man, we fought Watts, we fought the Businessmen, we fought the Gladiators, we fought Blood Alley, Dodge City, the Pueblo, Slauson Village, the Mexicans from Florence. We fought everybody. There were some guys down there. We didn't see that much of White Fence and Dog Town or Dog Patch down there. We didn't see that much of them. But we had our hands full, and everybody else had their hands full with us. I mean, because it was about a fight. Don't come up in this neighborhood. But they would come anywhere, and we know it was going to be a fight. I mean, we had record hops at the high school we were going to, and if those guys come in there, then the record hop basically stopped, because now they are in a territory that they shouldn't be in, and we didn't like it. So we did a lot of street fighting. And Big Slauson, we was learning. Big Slauson was showing us how to fight. Big Slauson paved the way about everything that I did in a young way. So they were like big brothers to me. So I listened and did everything. I tried to imitate Big Slauson in every way I could. We were a bunch of just rowdy guys, man, looking for a good fight all the time. And that's what we did, drinking some wine, going to the park. That's what we did.
Okay, now one of the main parks that you guys hung out at, did you guys hang out at Roosevelt Park or just?
Oh yes, that's in the hood.
Yeah.
We basically had two parks, and that was a Slauson Park and Roosevelt Park. That was inside of Slauson Village. See, I think the boundary from Slauson Village went from Slauson Avenue all the way to Manchester. That's going south from Slauson, going north to Manchester, and then going from east to west from Compton all the way over to Main Street, and that was our hood. And now the people that come out of that same hood is the Rolling 60s and the 8th Trade come out of that same neighborhood. Those two I know came out of Slauson Village.
Thanks for watching StreetGangs.com. Please like and share the video you just watched and leave a comment below to tell us what you think. You can also watch 2 of our previous episodes to the right. Please visit the link to our Patreon page and support our campaign. And don't forget to subscribe.